Welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm going to take you through front-end programming. I'm trying to simplify front-end programming for you. So yeah, if you actually like the video and the content, please like, subscribe and comment, but don't forget to subscribe. Yeah, thank you. So let's dive in. So programming. What is programming actually? So programming is the process of activity or a process or activity of writing computer programs, right? Now you might be wondering what is actually computer programs, right? Now a computer program is a specific set of ordered operations for a computer to perform. Like when you maybe go to the coffee machine and you press what is it called? A button and the coffee, you choose whatever you want it to mix for you, maybe espresso or thereabout, or it mixes for you how the amount of milk, something like that, and the computer itself does every calculation and gives you the end product. That is kind of an impression, kind of a process, right? A process to get to give you something, computer is performing an operation for you. So a specific set of ordered operations for a computer to perform, it's a computer program. Yeah. So what is ordered operation? Ordered operation can actually be algorithms, assignments, or yeah, etc. Algorithms, whatever it's the process it takes to actually give you that particular coffee that you wanted, the exact coffee you wanted, like an operation. And it has to be ordered. It doesn't have to be scattered. It really needs to be ordered. Yeah. So yeah, let's look at application development. So what is actually application development? So application development is like the process of creating a computer program or a set of programs to perform the different tasks that a business requires, right? Now, we've already established what a computer program is, like a set of ordered instructions, right? Now, the process of creating these computer programs or a set of programs, yeah, to perform different tasks, within a business, it's called application development. So you're safe to say that application development it contains a lot of sets of um, ordered operations, organized set of ordered operations, for a computer to actually perform. Yeah. So these operations can actually be written in code. Of course, it's definitely you have to use code to write these programs. Now, example of this application development, we have the web application development. Web application development is like developing computer programs for a website. You know, website like Facebook, Instagram websites, Google websites, and etc. Yeah. So we have another example called computer application development. So computer application development is like you're developing application from computer programs, developing computer programs for your computer. Let's say, for example, you come to macOS, right? You might have VLC, you might have calculator, and the rest of them, or which are specific to only computers, not really like a website or specific to a computer itself, So we also have another one, mobile application development, right? So mobile application development is like you develop these computer programs or applications, right, for mobile interfaces or mobile devices like iPhones, Android, then I think we were using Symbian and the rest of them. So let's talk about web application development because that is actually where we are supposed to focus in this course. So of course, we've established that web application development is developing computer programs or application for websites like Facebook's. That is what we established right now. So what is web application development? So web application development is the creation of application programs or computer programs that reside on remote servers and are delivered to the user's device over the internet. Let's dissect this a bit. Application programs are also called or can be seen as computer programs, right? We've really established what computer programs are already in the first two slides. that resides on a remote servers, right? Right. So remote servers are like computers. It could be higher computers, it could be small computers or whatever it is, something that can hold your file, your folder, your code, your resources, your assets, Yeah. Yeah, that is kind of a remote servers. Most times when you hear remote servers, it tends to go to, your mind tends to go to big computers, big servers, big computers that hold information and have a higher processing ability, Yeah. So and are delivered to the user's device over the internet, right? So web application development has to do with internet. You have something on a server and a device, right? Request for this thing, you know, the request for this thing on the server, and the server sends it to your device, right? Then your device displays it in such a way that you can view, you can interact with it. That is what it means, right? Yeah. So let's move on. We have two types of web application development. We have front-end client application development. Now, front-end client application development is we talked about two category or two involvements in web development. We have the server side where the assets, let's say the assets, the pictures, the you know, backend code lives. That is the servers, right? The remote servers, right? Where these things live and you can fetch it, right? Then we have the user device, right? User device is where it is being presented, to the user for you to be able to see, and interact with, right? Now, front-end client application development has to do with this user device, how this is being presented in the user device, and how you interact with it, that is mostly what front-end client application development is all about. Sometimes we call it client, sometimes we call it front end. They mean the same thing, right? Cool. So now we have another type, which is backend or server-side development. Now we have server-side backend development. So the server side is like I explained before, is where these resources live, is where the backend code is where the what you call resources database also it can be sometimes can actually be involved in server-side development where you store things, in the store. Let's take an analogy of somebody who is trying to sell, who is doing a retail business, right? Let's say, for example, somebody is doing a retail business of an iPhone, right? So he has a place where he stores um, the iPhones that he sells, right? That place he stores the iPhones, maybe in the bulk. He stores in the bulk there, right? That place is called the server side. I'm just trying to use a simplified analogy for you. That place is called the server side, where he just call it warehouse, right? Warehouse, yes, can use warehouse, where he stored the bulk of iPhones, right? Then he has another place where he presents sample of these iPhones, right? Users can come there, look at it, interact with it, press it, and interact with it and try to get if they really like the iPhone before they can be able to make a request, make a request for the owner to actually go to the warehouse and get a new iPhone and bring it to him, that kind of thing. So that is kind of an analogy I want to use here. So the warehouse is the server side, and the where they are being displayed is the front end, and the process of going to the warehouse to bring a new iPhone when the user wants to see more or wants to see different types or that kind of thing. That process is called a request, that happens between them. So what really happens in web development is like the front end is like a view a presenter. It presents the site, so that the user can be able to, interact, view and interact with the website, with the web application, right? Then the server side is where information is stored, other information is stored, you know, other resources are stored, right? So that when a user wants to request for that resource or request for that information, there's a request from the front end to the server over the internet. This happens over the internet. The request goes to the server side and picks up this information and brings it to the user, to the front end and the client displays this information again for the user to interact with, to view, yeah. So let's talk about front-end web development, because this course we are going to really focus on front-end web development, right? Now, what is front-end web development? Front-end web development is the development of the graphical user interface. Remember, the user interface, where the user or what the user sees, and what the user interacts with. The graphical user interface of a website through the use of HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, so that users can view and interact with that website. Remember in the previous slide, I talked about users can view and interact with that website. That is the front end where the user, where you present the website for the user to view and interact with. We have different languages used for front end development. These are just the languages that are used. For then we have frameworks, but we're focusing on the languages right now. So we have HTML, which is an acronym for Hypertext Markup Language. We have CSS, which is also an acronym for Cascading Style Sheets. We have JavaScript. We will dive into this in the later sections. So let's have a front-end analogy, right? We have the HTML, right? From the image, you can see HTML. I know you're wondering what this is about, right? Now let's say this is HTML. HTML is more of the skeleton of a website, all right? It's more of the skeleton of a website. You have the hand skeleton, the ribs, the leg skeleton, the toe skeletons, the score. It is more of a skeleton of a website. What the website really, what makes up the skeleton of a website. That is what this thing is trying to tell you. Next, you have a CSS, right? Now, when you have a skeleton, right, it doesn't look good, right? You need to actually make the skeleton look good, right? Now you have to attach a flesh, attach a flesh, hair, eyes, the color of the eyes, the color of the hair, the color of the beard, the color of, how long is the nails, how long is the hand, the arm, the legs, when you start attaching this to the skeleton of the website, you're using CSS. CSS can actually just be said can actually mean beautifying the skeleton, trying to beautify the skeleton to look good, to look presentable, to look good, arranging everything, giving it flesh and arranging it in the order that it looks good, appealing to somebody who wants to interact with the person, right? Yeah. So next is JavaScript. Actually, I was going to talk about React.js later on in the future, but let's focus on JavaScript right now. Yeah, so JavaScript is the middle diagram here. So you have this is kind of I call it the action of the website, the neuron, of neurons of the website, that carries signals, to the brain, and gives you that reactions in your body. Let's say, for example, you have a skeleton which is HTML, and you've already made a skeleton look good, by adding flesh, by adding hair, beautify the eye, give it a long arm and everything. But once you're done with that CSS thing, it just stands there, doesn't do anything. Users can come and talk to it, but it doesn't do anything. So for it to be able to respond to the user's interactions, touch, and other stuff, that is what JS JavaScript does. JS can also mean JavaScript. I use JS, I use JavaScript. So yeah, the neurons are the JavaScript. You need this action in a human body to, in a website, when you come to interact with it, click on the button, what happens? you know, when you resize the screen, what happens? When you hover over a button, what happens? These are the interactions between the website or the human being in this image and users, other users, you know. So yeah, that is the analogy I want to give, and we are going to focus on HTML in the next slide. Yeah, thank you.